Morning, Philadelphia, and welcome to week 2 of the Eagles. Where week 1, we had an awesome game against the Washington Redskins. Jumped out to a huge lead, 33-7. We did our game. First half especially, we came out firing. We took off a little bit. We tried to get some time off the clock, and it looked a little dicey. I mean, the score 33-27, a whole lot closer than it actually was. A little bit of a scare, but started off week 1 and the Chip Kelly regime with a win. So we beat the defending NFC East Champs, and actually I think I have to cash in on a bet. No money, but a little pride bet that I made with a Redskin fan of mine. So keep me reminded about that. This week, the Eagles start their home games against the San Diego Chargers. Now, a couple little weird facts. The last 4 seasons, I believe, our first home game, we ended up playing the eventual Super Bowl champions. Last year, of course, being against Baltimore, and we beat them. San Diego, for me, has a little bit of a place in my heart. Especially, I used to live there when I was in the military. Nice place, nice people, and there's a lot of actually transplants from the East Coast out in San Diego, either from Philly or New York. They even have their own separate bars for Philadelphia. I remember myself, there's a place down in Pacific Beach where you can watch Philadelphia. So they have a little bit of a taste of what Philly's like, but now they're coming here. A little bit outside, if you're from San Diego and you're coming to my city, Philadelphia, if you're missing home, here's a place that you can go. Now, food brings people together, and food reminds people of home. When I was traveling around, I know that if I had a really, really good cheesesteak, it reminded me of home at least for a little bit. Now, my wife is actually from Central America, and when I brought her from San Diego to Philadelphia, we struggled very much to find a place that she could call home. Here at LIMON, over here in Conshohocken, I'll spell it for you, Conshohocken, Conshohocken. There's this place, LIMON, that absolutely passed my wife's test for Mexican food. A lot of places do their version of it, and it ends up being a very disrespectful Taco Bell version of what Mexican food is. But if you want to feel like you're at home, San Diego fans, come to LIMON, and I think that you'll be highly satisfied. You can even order in Spanish if you want to, because everybody here is from actually Mexico. But speaking of cheesesteaks, now if you're in Philadelphia, you gotta have Philadelphia food. What are we known for? Cheesesteaks. There's a lot of places you can go to, and people talk all these other names. The one place all Philadelphians respect, Jim Steaks. I'm down here on 4th and South Street. Now there's 2 Jim Steaks, but this is the popular one to go to. Come down here. Now this is the beginning of the morning, so nobody is out right now, but you better believe there's gonna be a line right down the street. What I recommend, bring your money, know what you want to eat, order it, eat it. I guarantee that you'll be happy. But come down here to Jim Steaks. There's a lot of other places. Jim Steaks is the standard of cheesesteak in Philadelphia. Thanks for letting me share a piece of Philadelphia with you. I'll take a bite out of it. I'd also like to give 2 shout outs to people that I know in San Diego that's affected me a lot in my life. First, to my service members, to my shipmates on the, especially USS Topeka SSN 754. Also to my other service members in Point Loma and on 32nd Street. This is my shout out to you from Philadelphia, standing next to a submarine that served in World War II. And then to my other shout out to the Rock Church that's on Rosecrans, right down the street from Point Loma. That's actually where I got saved and got baptized in Mission Bay by Miles McPherson. So, to the Rock Church from Philadelphia, who's the man? Jesus! That's right, baby. I know even 4 years ago I spent the Eagles game that we lost, also the Jason Ravon catch. But the San Diego fans were very polite to me, very welcoming, and I appreciate that. So I hope you San Diego fans, when you come to Philadelphia, that you get the same kind of treatment, and that this place can be home for a couple days, enjoy yourself. Of course, going home with a loss of the game, but having a fun time in my city. That being said, let's talk a little bit about football. Last week, what did Philadelphia do? We passed the ball, we ran the ball. We ran the ball more than we passed the ball. Shady McCoy had over 180 yards rushing. D-Jack had over 100 yards catching. Mike Vick had 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing. We came out the gates firing. Play after play after play after play. Fast-paced defense couldn't keep up. And that's where we want to be this week. Now San Diego did the same thing, maybe not with the read option offense, but they came out firing against Houston and built up a big lead. I think it was 28-7. Now both teams kind of took off a little bit at the end of the game, and fortunately for the Eagles, we ended with a win. San Diego kind of blew it, and they ended up losing to Houston 31-28. So they're going to be a little pissed this week. They're going to try to close out a game all the way, so look for them to have sustained production through the entire game and try to close out and go home with a win. So Philly, I know last week we came out the gates at one point we were winning 33-7, and that looked great. And then next thing you know, we're trying to get an onside kick that Jason Avant almost botched, as she kind of did, to give Washington a last breath of life. We can't do that this week. Vic, you look like you're had some injuries to the legs a little bit. Nick Foles, stay ready, because if Vic gets hurt, you got to come right in, and I think you can operate the offense just as efficient. Might not be a running threat. So we got healthy, because we have some short weeks. We went Monday night against Washington. We're going to play Sunday against San Diego, and then we have a game on Thursday against KC. But we're not going to worry about them right now. We're worrying about San Diego. Shady was even talking about how we need to move around the ball a little bit with the running backs, which means look for Bryce Brown and Chris Polk to have a little more touches this game. I like having the leading rusher in the NFL, but at the same time, we have to start thinking towards an entire season, not just one game. D-Jack came out and explosive to be. This is what I was talking about. You got what you wanted, and you produced. You got to improve a little bit on your blocking downfield, but if you keep on having games like you had, that's what helps us win. So D-Jack, just keep it up. What else are we looking for? I think from the Eagles, you're looking for all on the same, on the offensive side, that we're going to have a balanced attack of running, passing. You have no clue what in the world Chip Kelly's going to do, and I think part of the reason why he took off last week, we don't want to show future teams more of what's in his bag of tricks. But this week, I think our passing defense is going to be tested a whole lot more than it was last week. Say what you want, RG3 wasn't the same until later in the game as well. I mean, we went to a prevent defense. Same time RG3 started getting his confidence back. Remember, this guy didn't play in the preseason at all. We still have no excuses for the Redskins. They still lost. We're still better than them for last week. But now we're playing a Phillip Rivers San Diego team where, we have to deal with, Antonio Gates and all these other people, which they have a big passing game. I'm not worried so much about San Diego's running game, but their passing game is what I'm worried about. Our secondary got a little bit of praise last week. We have to remember that we are playing a lot of time with the lead. It's easy to play defense with the lead. So this week, look for our passing defense to step up to the plate. Kerry Williams, we like your physical nature. A lot of people are saying that you're a bad seed because of all this stuff that has been going on, but you proved it on the field. One thing you can do in Philadelphia is prove it on the field. Forget all the media, forget what everybody says on our hype. If you do what you're supposed to do on the field, all that stuff magically goes away. So you're going to find out real quick that we're going to be right on your side. You keep that attitude on the field, we'll love you here. All right? So I'm looking for the Eagles to step up, keep that fast pace, and just keep the pedal to the metal. Do what we do. Let's start off this home season with a win. And you know what? Then we move on to KC, but let's take care of San Diego and itself. So we ended last week to win. So Eagles fans, you know what we do. Let's do it all game. Let's represent Philadelphia. Let's show San Diego how we do. Go Birds, baby. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Beat San Diego.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to